up. Well, support for that has totally thawed. Tom, the news on the exchanges.
Yes, indeed. Well, the support for Freeze Up has frozen up, I think it's fair to say. Out to 10-1, drifting badly. My Lord Oscar, well, Ender Bulger's looking forward to a salvo with the Spot the Difference a little later on. I beg your pardon, Spot the Difference, heads on the ground, and indeed their favourite for the big race.
Barge on Petro.
But looking further down the list, 17-2. Hoopy, last year's winner, is solid. Never So Blue drifts. Mr. Apples, 3 times a winner here at Cheltenham. He likes it around Prestbury Park. 10-1 is the price. And more significantly, certainly the mover of the race is this Not a Bother on Me. 8-1, matched at a high, just to a couple of quid, I should say, but matched at 18-1 this morning. Not a Bother on Me, the each-way mover of the race.
Just taking the eye catchers now, and so much depends on how horses handle this ground. But Hoopy going down, that was a big positive, and Not a Bother on Me, a plus down in the betting ring. And on the exchanges, same horse along with Mr. Apples. Mr. Apples, who ran in the race last year, probably conditions a little bit too soft for him, I'd have thought, this afternoon. But Andrew, you know quite a few of these. Have you got a particular fancy?
Yeah, I did like Mr. Freeze Up for me of David Pipes. I just thought that he went well fresh last year when he went first to David Pipes. Won at Fontwell very, very easily, and on his last run won very well at Plumpton. He's gone up in the weight an awful lot, but he'll handle the ground well, and I think he's a horse who might just have matured for having the summer off.
Yeah, there's a lot of nice young horses in this, Jim.
Yes, it's actually, as I said right at the start, sometimes, I don't mean this rudely, but you get an amateur riders race and it's full of old plugs, isn't it? But as you said, there's plenty with their best days ahead of them. But you saw Never So Blue. I worked at Haydock last week. I know it probably wasn't as competitive as this, but Never So Blue did actually bolt up, John, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. You know, he's a horse who's always looked as though he's going to get better with more racing, and just felt that it was just a little bit tiring up there. Is he going to be just as good coming up this hill? I suppose so, but so much depends this time of year when the conditions suddenly get from being decent to soft ground. A lot of these horses, this will be too soft for them, and they don't jump as well because they just can't find their feet. And I think if this Freeze Up gets off and makes the run and gets into a good rhythm, he might be difficult to peg back.
Few of these do like to make the running, but I dare say they'll soon sort themselves out. The starters coming through, and high time Hugh Barclay, high time to join Simon Holt.
Yes, they're about to line up. Interesting to see how strongly they finish, how deep the ground is. Promised, as Alistair was saying, a lot more rain than we've had, as the starter walks towards his platform to call them in here. And some of the best amateur riders in the country involved in this race. A couple of very good female riders as well, Nina Carberry and Katie Walsh, as they jump away. The Irish Times Amateur Riders Handicap Chaser. Another jump season underway here at Cheltenham on Channel 4 as they race towards the first fence, and it was Freeze Up towards the outside in the light blue jacket. Radetzky March over on the inside, he got very warm, and now the Sawyer, who's often a front runner, and a bold jumper too, who takes over. The Sawyer taken into the lead by Mark Wall from Radetzky March, then Freeze Up with Strawberry close up as well, the grey Never So Blue, as they jump the second going towards the far side. Further back, Alexander the Great then from Razor Royale, and then Mr. Apples tracks these with Verazi, and then Not a Bother on Me. In the rear division, held up in the early stages, Hoopy together with Silly Wapple, also Quillimar and Dream Champion, and My Lord Oscar, the market leader, is held up anchored in last place as they jump the third, the first down the back straight, and they all land safely over that. Next is the water jump, and so the Sawyer making it by a couple of lengths to Radetzky March in second on the near side of Strawberry, and Freeze Up out wide, Razor Royale close up, and down there Silly Wapple. Silly Wapple is down at that. Tom Weston hitting the deck. Just try and see if Tom's got up. He's moving, but he's not got up at the moment as they clear the next plain one. My Lord Oscar still the back marker, and happily Tom Weston has got to his feet after that fall from Silly Wapple. But here Mark Wall on the Sawyer gets a good jump out of the Sawyer, loves it round here. In second place, Radetzky March on the near side of Strawberry in the purple and yellow jacket, running for the first time for Nicky Henderson today. Freeze Up is fourth, then Razor Razor Royale, Never So Blue to the outside of Varazi and Alexander the Great. And then Mr. Apples, Not a Bother on Me, and Hoopy, last year's winner, as they jump the open ditch over on the far side. Still towards the rear, Quillimar, also My Lord Oscar and Dream Champion. Reaching the top of the hill now, swinging left-handed. And they'll shortly be meeting the descent towards the next two fences, which will be third last and second last on the next circuit. And it's still the Sawyer from Strawberry, Radetzky March on the right, My Lord Oscar going off the 4-1 favourite here. Still at the back of the field on the left, if you just see a pink cap bobbing away towards the rear, blue jacket, pink cap, right out the back, ridden quietly by Nina Carber in these still early stages as they jump the next plain fence. And over that one, Alexander the Great was a bit slow on the inside, the horse that ran very well in this race 12 months ago. My Lord Oscar on the extreme left going towards the next. The Sawyer from Radetzky March, and then Strawberry clearing that one from Freeze Up, and then Razor Royale tracking them. Never So Blue is very handy indeed as they return to their departure gate and straighten up for the next plain one in front of the stands. On the outside, Quillimar in the black and yellow jacket, Mr. Apples in blue and white in the centre, and then Varazi, Alexander the Great, still struggling a bit around the inside, pushed along intermittently, followed by Hoopy in maroon and yellow towards the rear. My Lord Oscar still out the back as well, but they're fairly well grouped together with a circuit left to travel. So the Sawyer making it here from Strawberry in second and Freeze Up in third. And we've got a few jockeys with us today. Andrew Thornton, a current rider. John Frankham, retired, of course. Wouldn't you like to ride a horse like the Sawyer, boys? He's a game and bold front runner.
God, I'd come out of retirement to ride him. He's just a real genuine horse, likes this ground, loves jumping. And it's difficult when you get a horse to get into a stride, Andrew, isn't it? To get past them.
He's getting on really well with him, just letting the horse get on with the job and letting the horse think for himself. And that's the best way to ride those handicappers. As you see, just let him run in nice and neat and tidy there and don't complicate it.
So continuing down the back straight again, and still the Sawyer, Freeze Up, looming up in that light blue jacket. Strawberry close, Radetzky March on the near side as they clear the water jump. Quillimar out wide, Not a Bother on Me beginning to struggle a bit. Razor Royale in the orange cap, just right of frame there into fifth place, followed by Radetzky March. Mr. Apples, Hoopy improving a bit, but wasn't too fluent at one of those down the back. A bad blunder there from Dream Champion. That was a bad mistake, knocked Dream Champion back as they continue on towards the next plain one. And the Sawyer, Freeze Up, these two disputing it there. They're running left-handed now towards an open ditch. On the outside, Quillimar. They've gone 3 lengths clear of Razor Royale, and now they're heading towards the fourth last fence. Radetzky March still there, Mr. Apples, Strawberry towards the outside, then Hoopy. My Lord Oscar with some work to do at the moment as they clear the ditch. What a good jump again from the Sawyer there on the inside. Regain the definite lead. Quillimar on the outside, the black and yellow jacket right there under Robert Henderson, of course, had the big winner at Wincanton last weekend on Ellerslie George as they run to the top of the hill. 3 fences left to jump, and the Sawyer taken on, challenged by Quillimar. Razor Royale now into third as Freeze Up begins to fade. Mr. Apples staying on in the blue and white, then Hoopy and Strawberry, and the rest have got an enormous amount of ground to make up, including My Lord Oscar, who's made no impression at all. Down towards the third last. Quillimar now taken on by Razor Royale at that. Quillimar blunders. Razor Royale is left in front. The Sawyer third, Hoopy on the left in the noseband in his bid to repeat last year's victory. Then Mr. Apples and Freeze Up as they approach the second last. Razor Royale comes in to take it. Oh, he jumps it beautifully there, and down is Quillimar. Hampers the Sawyer and in turn Hoopy. Then Mr. Apples and Freeze Up. Quillimar's rider up on his feet, Robert Henderson, but only one horse in the picture. Razor Royale turns for home with a huge lead in the hands of Sam Twiston Davis, riding for his father Nigel here. Could be a local win to kick off the open meeting. Razor Royale stood right off it, jumped it beautifully, and is going to win unchallenged here, storming up the hill. The Sawyer landed second, Mr. Apples third, Hoopy very tired from Never So Blue. But this is a one-horse contest here, and Razor Royale, trained just across the Cotswolds by Nigel Twiston Davis, absolutely hacks home. In second, a bold shout there from the Sawyer. He'll improve for the run, doubtless. Mr. Apples in third, Never So Blue was fourth, then Hoopy. Behind those, Not a Bother on Me, Strawberry, Freeze Up, faded badly. Then Varazi, and behind Varazi, Radetzky March, and they seem to be the only finishers. So Razor Royale at 12-1, all smiles for Sam Twiston-Davies here. He couldn't have had it easier, really. This is a horse that showed a lot of promise in his early days over hurdles. Just one or two disappointments, but not today. Alice Plunkett with the winning rider.
Sam, this is some moment. Your first Cheltenham winner. You've been coming here since you were in a pram.
Yeah, absolutely thrilled. It's so nice to have a winner here. So I dreamed of that ever since I was a little kid.
And Dad's been giving you a load of opportunities, but you've been working hard at it too.
Yeah, Dad's been really good to me. He's helped me out loads. Carl, Nige, Ferg and Sparky all at the yard have given me loads of advice. Paddy B, Tom Malloy, Dave, they've all helped me loads.
And what about Mum? Don't forget Mum.
Mum, yeah, she's been great help. And she's the one that brought me up here today and said, just no pressure, don't worry about it.
But he's not always been a straightforward horse, but he was travelled brilliant today.
Yeah, he travelled like a dream. God, when I was long, he really came up for me, and oh, he's a lovely horse. I'm so pleased to be riding him.
I don't hate saying this, but what does it mean to you riding a winner here?
It means more than anything I've done before.
Well done, Sam.
Thanks very much.